Hey everybody, it's Pete. Welcome to a new episode of Stocks for Breakfast. Today we're going to talk about something that's pretty interesting. We're going to talk about how to be in the right stocks at the right time for the right type of trader that you are. I know that sounds like a lot, but really it comes down to, are you a day trader? Are you a swing trader? Are you a longer term position trader? Are you an investor? And how do you find the right stocks to be looking to buy at the time those stocks are the strongest? And here's actually like a really, we're going to call it advanced, but it's really just really breaking down what some people might call top-down analysis. We all know that individually, we get this question all the time. If I'm trading a stock that's really strong, but the market is going down, what do I do? Do I get out of my stock because the market's getting hit with selling? And we always need to remember, first and foremost, the easiest trades are ones that are in the same direction of the market. So if the market's going up, the sectors are going up, the industry groups are going up, your stock has a pretty good chance of following that. Nothing's guaranteed, right? Nothing's all the time, but the odds are significantly in your favor. But even though those are the easier trades, we are still trading the stock first. So you never want to just get out of a stock because the market's going down, because that stock could have a positive catalyst that's going to hold it up and even make it go higher despite the market going down. Now, there's different degrees of the market going down. If there's really big news and the market's getting really hard and the selling is being heavy and you're in a profitable trade in your individual stock, what I would normally do is I would move up my trailing stop. I wouldn't necessarily just get out. I'd move it up. And if it does pull back with the rest of the market, then I'd get out. But let's work today on stacking the odds in our favor. Let's work today on finding ideas in the time frame that you trade. And remember, it's almost kind of like we're asking, select which type of profits you like. And if you're a day trader versus you're a longer term position trader, you'd be choosing different profits. So what we're going to be looking at now is we're going to be looking at profitable opportunities from a sector rotation perspective. That's a big word, wording it, really finding the right sectors that are the strongest in the time frame that you trade, and then building a list of those stocks. As long as those stocks are strong and performing well, then you have the industry group on your side, then you have the sector on your side, and that will be a powerful way to be in the right stocks. And even if the market's going down, you'll be able to find stocks and sectors where the way that we word it is money's flowing in at the same time. So instead of it being pulling against each other, where one group is pulling that way or individual stocks are pulling that way, everybody's pushing in the same direction. So all of the semiconductor stocks, all of the solar stocks, when they're all on the same page, it's easier to feel conviction because you can see the smart money is lining up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at how to break down sectors based on the way I do it. You might alter it a little bit for yourself, but we're going to look at sectors. We're going to look at the groups within those sectors, and then we're going to look at different time frames you could be trading those sectors. Again, it's very important that if you're somebody who's a longer term position trader, let's say, and again, in my world, that might be 3 to 4 to 5 months. If you're looking to hold trades that long, which again, there's nothing wrong with that, you need to make sure that you're finding order flow in the time frame that you're trading it, and then break it down into the stronger stocks that are within that sector group. So that's a lot of talking, but really what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to find the strongest stocks at the right time. That's really what it comes down to. By the way, if you find these videos helpful, definitely click down and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you'd like to get my exact entries and exits and trade with me in real time, come to my coaching calls, attend my review sessions, definitely click down and learn about the boot camp. I think that you'll find that it's an amazing investment that you make in yourself. So we're going to head over to the screener, not the charts today, and we're going to take a look at some individual opportunities. So one of the most interesting things is you can see that there's so many different things that you could be looking at in the market. And generally speaking, a lot of people will start over here and they'll go to the S&P 500 and take a look at ideas. Now, the one thing, like I said before, is choosing the type of profits that you'd like to earn. This is the one-day performance. So if you're a day trader looking for follow through, you might be looking at these stocks tomorrow, meaning this morning, and saying, okay, these stocks that are green, these stocks that are dark red, those are the ones that I'm going to be focusing on. So let's say, for example, MasterCard was down over 3%. So you might look at the charts on a little bit longer time frame to see order flow. Do you expect follow through? That's for a drilled down day trader. Then you might also say, well, I want to hold the stock Monday through Friday. I want to get a feel for how the stock traded over 5 days. One day of trading is not enough for me to have a strong opinion. So then you're going to say, okay, which stocks over the last 5 days in the S&P 500 were very strong that I could be looking to buy? So just one that pops out quickly here, which we've been involved, so good job by everybody in the community, is Micron. We actually got involved. We saw a really clean pause. We saw a clean order flow. We saw a spot to manage risk. And Micron was one of the stocks that were in last week. So you can see breaking it down and being in the right stocks matters. It's an easier way to trade. Now, a lot of people get stuck on, I'll use Tesla as an example, prior to Tesla being put into the S&P 500 or the news about it going into the S&P 500 in December. The stock had a really strong year heading up into August, and then September, October, for the better part of November, it really didn't move. And traders who are not aware of how to do what we're doing right now continue to trade the stock aggressively when it was not in play. It did not have Wall Street's attention. And a lot of traders got hurt and hurt really bad because they didn't recognize smart money was not involved. It did not have attention and trading aggressively still and getting hurt. So this is just a broader way of doing it with looking at the day, the week, the month, or even the quarter. You could break it down with whatever time frame. So if we look at the month, you can see now this is a very different picture. So you need to know how long you plan to hold the trade for the conviction. Now you could go out to a month and say, well, that's 21 days worth of trading, and the way FinViz breaks it down, and you say, okay, these are the stocks that I want to watch. And there's nothing wrong with that. But then you still need to make sure that today's order flow is in sync with the longer term order flow. But there's actually a sector specific way to break it down that's even more significant. And I'll say significant because now you're looking at groups of stocks within the same sector and creating sector specific watch lists. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the last 1 week performance, and we're going to take a look at the energy sector. So you can see here the energy sector over the last week, which again is the last 5 days of trading. You click on that and we'll go over to performance. So you can see this breaks down to 296 stocks. Now, we're not going to trade 296 stocks. We're certainly not going to put 296 stocks in our watch list. And quite frankly, you can see that there's some red in here. All 296 stocks don't meet the criteria. So we need to break it down a little bit further. So you can see we're in the energy sector, which over the last 5 days was the strongest. And you know what, I'm actually going to zoom out even a little bit further. If we go to groups, I'm going to come back to this in a second, and we go to overview, you can see these are the major sectors. Okay, so that's the breakdown to start out. Then we broke it down by performance over the last week. So we'll break this down again, which you can see energy there. And now, as we said, there's 296 stocks, but we only want to find the strongest stocks in the strongest sector. I say this all the time in the boot camp where I talk about we want to trade the market leaders. We want to trade the stocks that are leading in the strongest sector. And this is actually what we're breaking down now. So when you choose all over here on FinViz, then I want to break it down to the criteria that is the minimum criteria. Now I usually use 2 million, but I'm going to break it down to 1 million just to for illustrative purposes here. So we just went from 296 stocks to only 14 stocks that meet the minimum criteria. So essentially what I just did is I broke down all of those stocks to stocks that have sufficient liquidity every day, which means institutional attention and activity, and average true range of at least $1.50 that says it has enough opportunity. So we have liquidity and opportunity in the strongest stocks. Now that's still not breaking it down far enough because now we want to know the strongest stocks in the strongest sector over the last week, which we just broke down. So now we just broke it down by week, and we eliminated 2 out of the last 14 as well. So these top 12 stocks now would go into our list to take a look at to see if there's tradable opportunities. So what we would do now is we break it down by the charts, and we would take a look at how far, how fast, how long has order flow been available? How much room to go is there? What is the proper risk reward on these ideas? So you get the idea here that you are now, when you're watching stocks, whether it's day trading, swing trading, position trading, you're constantly massaging your list. This is a question I get all the time, which is how do you know when that obvious sector has started to, what we call the tape has changed. How do you know when it's no longer in play? How do you know when it's no longer the leading sector? Well, you need to stay on top of your list. Trading can be as simple or as complicated as you want it to be. And I trust me, I like to keep it as simple as possible, but there is a little bit of work that you need to do, which is not, we just did that in 10 minutes. So that's how much work, 10 minutes a day to find the right sectors. Now, we will take it a step further when we get into understanding how to read order flow, understanding how to be a tape reader. We talk all the time about, has the tape changed? And we've seen that dramatically in some of the stocks. And if we go sector specific, very clearly, the solar stocks. So we could start out with the stay-at-home stocks, which all exploded during the pandemic, the Wayfair, the DocuSign, the OSTK, Overstock.com, the Zoom, those kind of stocks. Although I think Zoom's going to stay up there. I think that is pretty much a standard now of the way we're going to do business. And then the solar stocks took off, and all of these solar stocks, one by one, were climbing together. So you had conviction, and it was easier to feel confident about placing trades. And then the tape changed. So we pulled away from the solar stocks, and then we went into the EV stocks, the electric vehicle stocks. And they've been very good to us over the last few weeks to month and a half. So you see how the little bit of 10 minutes worth of homework that you do, we call it going on a treasure hunt, that's where the money comes in. And you need to build your list, massage your list. So you have your list of the hottest sectors now. Then you run your daily scans within your universe. You have a certain list of stocks that you trade every day, no matter what, because they're general market leaders. You have your Apples, your Microsofts, your Facebook, those big tech stocks that pretty much dominate the market and even dominate ETFs, where if the Dow moves or the S&P moves or the QQQ moves, typically there's a few stocks that are the biggest holdings in those sectors. So there's so many different ways to break it down. What I want to implore you is if you have a preference for a particular type of sector, stick there. You don't need to be all over the place making things complicated. If you want to get it, we want to make it a little more exciting and get in there and basically do what I'm talking about now, where you're always in the right stocks at the right time. You break it down a little further, and you do this on a daily basis, and you start to see patterns emerge. You say, okay, the energy sector went from the strongest stock yesterday to the strongest stock the last 5 days, to the strongest stock the last month. And you stick with that until you start to see the tape change, which is a little bit different than we're teaching right now. So this is the easiest way, and quite honestly, the longest running and most reliable way on Wall Street to be a confident trader, where you feel super good that you're looking at the right stocks and you have the greatest chance of reliably seeing your account go higher and higher. If you have any questions about this, definitely leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you, and definitely click down and learn about the bootcamp right below the video. I really would like for you to see the wall of success and other traders that we've had in the bootcamp this year. It's been an amazing ride this year, despite the challenges that we've had. So have a great day, everybody, and I'll speak to you soon.